Welcome back. So in this current session we are going to discuss about another algorithm, another supervised learning algorithm, that is called naive Bayes. Okay, so to understand naive Bayes, it is important that first we should understand the Bayes theorem. So what Bayes theorem says, that to calculate the probability of an event based on the prior knowledge of any event that related to the former event. Okay, so it is like if A and B are two events, okay, then the basic representation of the Bayes theorem is given by this calculation. Here it is saying probability of A given B, so that is the conditional probability. So that means that what is the probability of occurring A when the event B has already occurred. So that is the conditional probability of A, so that is equal to probability of B given A, means is just the opposite. So here this P of B slash A, that means this is the probability of occurring B when the event A has already occurred. So it is probability of B hash A into probability of A divided by probability of B. So these are the individual probabilities, so P of A and P of B, and this is the conditional probability for event B when A has already occurred, and here it is conditional probability of event A when event B has already occurred. So this is the equation, this is the Bayes theorem. So Bayes theorem says that I can say that the conditional probability of event A when event B has already occurred is equal to the multiplication of conditional probability of B when event A occurs and probability of A, and it is divided by probability of B. So that is the Bayes theorem. Okay, so these are the explanations. So P of A slash B is the conditional probability that event A occurs given that B has occurred. This is also known as the posterior probability. Okay, we calculate it after we get all other probabilities, so it is the posterior probability. Then probability of A and B is the probability of A and B without regard of each other. PA is the prior probability, so we already know this. And then probability of B by A, the conditional probability that event B occurs given that A has occurred. This is also known as likelihood. So actually when we will discuss about naive Bayes, we are going to term these probabilities as posterior probability, prior probability, likelihood, etc. in our discussion. So it is important that you understand what is the name given to different probabilities. Okay, then for this calculating this probability of B given A, so suppose we have n number of attributes, okay, and then we have categorical variables with two values and boolean outcome, then we have to calculate 2 into 2 to the power n minus 1 parameters. Means why it is, I will come to that. The better explanation means, suppose if you have a data set and we have a number of features and outcome that you already know. So the features, based on the features we determine the target. So maybe that is a target, it is saying that it is boolean outcome. So suppose the target is having only the outcomes 0 and 1, and there are n number of features. Okay, so when I am calculating the probability, suppose I am calculating the probability of the outcome based on the features, then if there are n number of features having two categorical values each, then it is going to be the all possible outcomes. Means when I am calculating the outcomes, then the number of parameters is this 2 into 2 to the power n minus 1, because I have to consider all possible combination of features when I am calculating the outcome. because it is possible that these features are dependent on each other. So when you are combining, then the outcome will differ. Means when you are getting all the combination of features, you have to do the all combination of this n number of features. So that's why these many parameters will be required, and you understand that it's going to be huge, right? Because n, if n is a big number, then it is, you have to calculate a lot of possibilities. Means it can become endless possibilities, right? Because almost endless, if n is huge, then it's a huge number of parameters you have to consider to calculate this. Okay, now when we come to the actual algorithm, naive Bayes. Okay, so I told you that naive Bayes algorithm is based on this Bayes theorem only. Okay, but that is the problem with Bayes theorem, because if there are n number of features, then you have to do so many possible combination of parameters to calculate the possible outcome. So that is actually, sometimes it is very difficult, nearly impossible. So for that, in naive Bayes algorithm, the main assumption is that the features in the data set are independent of each other. Okay, so that is the assumption we are doing, that conditional independence over the training data set, that if there are n number of features, then actually I don't need to make all the possible combinations to get the outcome. Means they are independent of each other, so I can calculate individually. Okay, that's why the complexity is reduces to 2n. Okay, this is a supervised classification algorithm. So that is actually called, that why it is naive Bayes, means as it is based on Bayes theorem and the name is given as naive Bayes. So the naive has come from this assumption that the features are independent of each other, because this assumption has made this algorithm simple. Otherwise it is going to be very complicated. Okay, so what we do in this naive Bayes, otherwise it is same, it is following the Bayes theorem only to calculate the outcomes, but only thing is that I am assuming at the starting that whatever may be the number of features, they are independent of each other. So that's a big assumption. Okay, so what are the steps in naive Bayes? So first of all, we convert the data set into a frequency table. Okay, how we do that, that I will show you when we are going to do the demonstration, okay, through Jupyter Notebook. So it is required that it should be kind of some, some floating point numbers, is kind of a frequency, that how many times it is occurring, kind of that. Okay, then we create a likelihood table by finding the probabilities of the events to occur. Okay, likelihood, to remember that probability of B given A, that is the likelihood. So we just find that probabilities, as I know that as the features are independent of each other, so it becomes simple, and then the naive Bayes equation is used to compute the posterior probability of each class. Okay, so for each it can be binary or it can be multiple classes, right? Means if it is only possible outcomes are 2, suppose 1 and 0, so it's kind of a binary classification. And if there are, suppose the possible values are 1 2 3 4 5, so it's a multi-class classification. So based on that, this equation is used for each class. You have to find the posterior probability. Means if there are 5 possible outcomes, then for each possible class you have to find the probability. Okay, the class with the higher posterior probability is the outcome of the prediction. So for a set of test data, suppose there are 5 possibilities. Okay, 5 types of class can be there, 1 2 3 4 5. So in that case, what we can do, that for all the 5 classes, for each of the 5 class, we try to get the probability for the test data, and we do the prediction. And when we get the probability, then we see that what is the maximum probability I am getting for these 5 calculations, and based on that I select that, okay, if one particular class has the maximum probability, so I select that, okay, the test data that I have given to the model, the algorithm, then that test data belongs to that class. So to summarize again, first of all we convert our data set into a frequency table, then we create the likelihood table of the finding the probabilities of the events, and then this likelihood table when we create, we have the assumption that every feature we are giving are all independent of each other. Then we compute the posterior probability for each class, means each possible outcome class, and then when we have probability for all the possible outcome classes, then we take the maximum probability, maximum posterior probability we get, and we select it as the predicted outcome for the test data. So that are the steps. Okay, so there are multiple types of naive Bayes classifiers are available. First one is multinomial naive Bayes. This is mainly used for document classification. I will show you one example of document classification. So suppose you have a document and you want to classify it as, okay, if this is the document, it is type of question paper. If this is the document, it's kind of some answer sheet. If this is the document, it's kind of instruction material, like that. So if we have to do this type of thing, then we go for this multinomial naive Bayes. Okay, features predictors used by the classifier are the frequency of the words present in the document. So how it is being done, that suppose you have a question paper, so it's a number of words are present. So how do you calculate? Maybe if the question paper has some 20 words, okay, 20 distinct words, and it is possible that what keyword it is some 10 occurrences, and there is a data word has some 8 occurrences, there is some another word, suppose Python, it has some 5 occurrences. So it's possible that for different words there are different number of occurrences in that entire document. So based on that we create the frequency table, that for all possible words we find the frequency of each word in the document. So that's how we create the frequency table, and then based on that this naive Bayes algorithm is executed. Okay, we'll have some detailed discussion on that. Okay, then comes the Bernoulli naive Bayes. It is the special type of multinomial, you can say, where predictors are Boolean variables, means we can have only two possible predictors, those are yes or no. Okay, and then comes the Gaussian naive Bayes. It actually helps in prediction of continuous value. Okay, so it's kind of when your samples are taken from some normal distribution. Normal distribution, you understand, it's a mean of 0 and the standard deviation of -1 to +1. If the data is distributed in a normal form or Gaussian form, then this Gaussian naive Bayes can be used. Okay, so now what are the advantages of naive Bayes? It is easy and quick way to predict classes, both in binary and multi-class classification problems. So we can do for both, and it performs better compared to other classification models even with less training data. So this is important classification algorithm when you have less number of training data, and it performs better other compared to other classification models. The performance is good. Is distribution independently estimated as a one-dimensional distribution? It can avoid curse of dimensionality and improve the performance. So here actually what we do, for all the dimensions, all the features are given, but we have to handle one feature at a time, because anyway it is I am considering independent feature set, and when calculating the probabilities, then we take one feature at a time. So it's like we are doing that distribution based on one dimensional distribution. So we are just taking one dimension at a time, so we can avoid curse of dimensionality. We have discussed already about curse of dimensionality, that when there are many dimensions, then it creates problems, so we can avoid that. Okay, now as there are advantages, there are disadvantages as well. So it's a poor estimator, that is the main disadvantage, that the probability we are getting and we are concluding some outcome, and but many times it is not giving us the correct result. The naive assumption of independence, so that's a big deal, right? Because in reality, in most of the data sets, all the features cannot be independent of each other. There are many features which are actually closely dependent on each other. So this is a big assumption we are doing, and that may lead us to some wrong outcome. When the test data set has a feature that has not been observed in the training set, the model will assign a zero probability to it and will be useless to make predictions. That's a problem. So here what I'm doing, that in the training data set I'm calculating the probability for each of the features, right? So and we save it, and when the test data is coming, I am comparing with that only. But if some feature that was not present in training data set and now it has in the test data set, so it will not be calculated and it will be just given as zero. So I will get some zero probability, and that is actually incorrect, and I cannot make prediction with this type of data sets. Means if the feature set differ in training set and test data set, then this naive Bayes will not be applicable, or it will not be suitable. So you understand that it is kind of, I can have some nearly correct predictions from naive Bayes, because I don't have to do many complex actions. But the problem here is that it is the estimations many times it's not correct, and this assumption of independence is a big deal, because most of the time these features are not independent of each other. So those cases it cannot be good, but it can give us some it can give some picture to us. May not be absolutely correct, but we can generate some predictions from this algorithm. So this is all about naive Bayes, and in the next tutorial we are going to have some demonstration on naive Bayes and naive Bayes related topics. Okay, so thank you for now. We'll see you in the